Welcome to this beautiful morning. I'm up bright and early because I'm attempting to do a little bit of blackberrying. You might have seen that we did this last year to make the blackcurrant shrub for Wintermas, which is our midwinter festival. I'm going to be making something different this year, but I'll get into more of that when I'm back at home. I've got my trusty little bucket. I'm trying to pick this morning kilos worth of blackberries, so I'll catch up with you back home in the kitchen. By the way, I'm up bright and early because it's going to be in the mid-30s today. That is too hot for my tastes to be doing anything too outdoorsy, so better crack on with this. It's already starting to get warm. I was aiming for a kilo of fruit. I know the tub itself weighs something, but I think that's good enough. Let's get it home. You can see I'm back at home now, and I have put together the things that I'm going to be using, which is going to go into this demijohn that has been sterilised, and I've just held it over the fire to drive out the last of the moisture. Our tap water is unfiltered, so the last thing I want is any residue of that in here. What I'm going to be making is a type of drink called Melomel. Now, obviously, mel is the Latin for honey, so it is basically a type of mead, but the difference here is that whilst mead is just fermented honey, Melomel includes fruit, and because we have such an abundance of blackberries near to us, I am making a blackberry Melomel. Say, Tudor times, what I would have done is just put the honey and the blackberries into a vessel and left them, but I have decided to include a little bit of extra yeast. Fermentation would take place with the natural yeast in the fruit, but just in case I'm belt embracing it with this wine yeast, not bread making yeast, and it also specifically says that it's suitable for both perry and mead. So that should be just what the doctor ordered for this. I've got other bits and pieces sterilising in the sink, because it's important that all of this is well sterile. I've never made a Melomel before, but what I'm going to do is put the blackberries in the demijohn. I'm going to heat up the honey with a bit of water so that I can get it in the demijohn. I'm going to add some cinnamon, and I'm going to add some orange rind, and then I'm going to add the yeast. I'm going to put it in a dark cupboard where I'm going to leave it for a couple of months. Apparently, Melomel is a very slow process, and it might take a long time for it to start going, and then a long time for fermentation to finish. And then at that point I will bottle it, and fingers crossed I will have something nice for Wintermas, but only time will tell. I'm going to crack on and start constructing it though. Well, here we have my demijohn of Melomel. It wasn't an expensive process. We had all of the equipment. The only thing I had to buy really was the honey, and the yeast was negligible. Anyway, I'm going to go and pop this in a place where it can just do its thing, and I'll check in on it periodically and see how it's looking, and I'll update you if there's anything to report. But fingers crossed, the next you hear about the Melomel is Wintermas when I crack it open and telling you what it's like. By the way, last year you may remember I made the blackberry shrub, which was delicious. I'm not making it this year because I didn't like it, but rather I just thought I'd try something new. Hence the Melomel, but we'll see. Time will tell. And for anyone who's interested, this is the honey, local honey which I'm using, and this is information about it. As you can see, it's unpasteurised honey, which is great, and I used a kilo of it. So a kilo of fruit to a kilo of honey. By the way, I'm not following a recipe, I'm just sort of making this up. Medieval people just shove stuff in a bucket and away they went. You find me here straying a bit into Will's domain. Don't tell him, he'll probably see all this and go mad because I'm doing it wrong or something. But anyway, shh, it's our secret. What I'm doing is I'm in the process of trying to make a sign for the gate. So I've got this piece of wood, don't ask me what sort of wood it is, I've got no idea, but I like the cut of its jib. It's a bit rough on this edge. I don't sort of mind this, but that just, you know, bugs me. So I'm using this Japanese saw, which Will did say that he might let me have at some point because it's slightly damaged, not by me, but anyway, so it's not quite appropriate for fine woodworking anymore, but it's my favourite saw. So I've marked a line and I'm just sawing along it, and then I will move on to phase 2, which is sanding it. Phase 3 will involve putting where I want the holes to go, which will mean lining it up against the fence to make sure that it will fit the fence pattern. And then the final phase will be attempting to write the sign. So the hardest bit will come last. But I'm enjoying the process so far. That's that done. So now I'm moving on to the sanding stage, for which I'm using our Ryobi orbital, a random orbital sander, which is one of our cordless battery powered tools. And I'm just going to go straight in for really coarse and then pretty fine. I don't need it super fine, and I don't need to worry about sort of doing too many steps in between. After all, it's going to be outside and it's going to be on a gate, so just a bit nicer, but doesn't have to be perfect. That's that done. Feels quite nice to the touch, but I don't need it to look perfect. In fact, I quite like some of this charm. And let's face it, if a bushfire comes through, it's going to burn anyway, so it doesn't have to be perfect. What I'm going to do now with my trusty pencil is head over to the gate and work out where I need to drill the holes. As you can see, Will's now put the brace, the strainer post, on the smaller of the gate posts, which means that we can now do these fence wires. Then we'll be in a position to hang the gate. This is really just the icing on the cake, just to alert people that this isn't coming on our property, isn't fair game. So this is what I mean about the gate situation. So what I want to work out is where to put the holes on the sign so that I'm making best use of where the gate is. And we're going to do that now. Can't take you with me because I can't do it one-handed. Okay, so as you can hopefully see, I've marked where the wires go, and so this bit here is where I'm going to put the hole. Will's got this lovely drill press, but I don't know how to move this thing from off the bottom. Otherwise I would use that, but because I haven't, because I don't know how to remove this thing, I am going to drill them with my battery powered drill. But I will be using the drill bits that I got from Will for Christmas. Here be they. I'm thinking that I don't necessarily have to drill a massive hole, at least to begin with, because for the initial stage of putting this on the gate, I will quite frankly probably just use cable ties. So a relatively small hole will suffice. What I'm going to do is drill 2 holes so that I can pass the cable tie through. So it's not, if I drill just 1 hole, I would only be able to attach it if I sent the cable tie around the edge, and that wouldn't be neat. But I don't want them too close together because there is a potential chance that down the line I might want to upgrade it to like a small piece of chain or something. It's a bit more attractive and are less likely to fall apart in time. But anyway, this is where I'm starting. So using my trusty battery powered drill, which Will hates, but has seen me through some good times, I'm going to now make my holes, and then that's my prep done. In the end, I've had to make the holes quite a bit bigger than I was intending. Original expanded, because of course I forgot that the cable ties have this chunky bit at the top. So anyway, it goes through now, and that's my prep done. Now what I need to do is learn how to carve letters. The other thing that's going on here is that I'm going to be making a special trip into town on Thursday of this week. I went last week to do the shopping. I would ordinarily only go in once a fortnight, but there's a couple of errands I need to run, 2 of which pertain to the ride-on lawn tractor. As you can possibly see, the tyre at the front's got a flat again. I think this is the same one I've had repaired before. There's a little indication of the repair sticking out at the top, and I think this one has 2. So I'm going to have to try and remember how I took that off and take it off so I can take it with me to get it fixed. And also, it's currently out of action. There's a rubber belt which goes underneath this yellow cutting deck. This covers the cutting blades, and that's the thing which makes the blades spin and spin and spin. But unfortunately it's snapped. Now I gather that that is, well, reading between the lines, I think that's quite a common problem, because the shop that I found, who is a John Deere specialist and stockist, said they normally have loads of those in stock, but they've sold out. And they were expecting a delivery yesterday, so I'm going to phone them tomorrow to make sure they've got stock in, which implies to me that that's something that people need to replace a lot. And it looks like it's quite an easy job. There's like a couple of like pulleys or something that it slots onto, and then the blades spin round and round. But until I've done that, I can't use this mower, because the other mower is also not currently in a state of repair. We'll be working towards getting them both up and running. But what I might do now that I've done the prep for my sign, is get this wheel off whilst I've still got some daylight. I've just got my jack out of my car. What I'm going to do is photograph it, because I'm notorious for forgetting how things go back in. So if you're like me, my hot tip is whenever I'm doing something, I tend to photograph stuff. Anyway, I'm going to crack on with that. These are the repairs I'm talking about. It sort of looks like a little piece of rope. So there's one here. I think that was the original one. And then I've taken it in for subsequent repair, and this is the second one. I've never seen anything like this. I don't know if this is like standard, if this is what happens in the UK. I didn't have a ride-on lawnmower to repair in the UK, but anyway, so yes, this tyre's got 2 of these, but nevertheless it is not a happy tyre. So hopefully they can do something about it. whilst I'm at it, this is what I'm talking about. I told a lie actually, I said this was all under the cutting deck, but I see now it's of course on top of the cutting deck. And this is the drive belt which is snapped, and these are like the wheels it should wrap around to make the blades underneath there spin. So that's the part that I'm looking to replace. Back to the wheel. So I've got this tin which I'm going to put everything in. I remove this cap which sits on there. And then what do we have in here? Got this little C-shaped thing. And then we've got this little round thing. Yeah. And then it just slides off. There we go. So I'm taking that back to town. What I think I'll also do, I've put some wood under there, and I'm going to try and take the jack out, because it's just my luck that I'll need it tomorrow and I won't have it. So I'm going to keep all of this in the tin nice and safe, and I'm going to keep it out of the way here. Then I'm going to crack on with the rest of my day. Okay, so back to the sign. And this is what I'm going to be using. This is Will's Dremel tool, which he's set up for me. It's battery powered. This is how I charge the battery. So apparently it's set up so that I can dangle this bit from somewhere, and then I can use this like a pen. And yes, I am left-handed, as all the best people in the world are. I'm going to be doing it in here, in our library room, just because I don't want to get in Will's way, and I don't want to do it in the house. So what I thought I'd do is I'd put a little bit of board on this table so that I'm not at risk of scratching the desk. And then I'll do some test pieces before I try out the real thing. This is the view from the library, in case you didn't know. And this is the remains of Operation Sheepskin. 2 down, well, 1 down, 2 to go. We gave Will's parents one of them as a Christmas present. So we're keeping these 2. And yes, we do have plans for improving the aesthetics in this room. But that's for a bit down the line, because there's actually quite a lot to do in here. Anyway, I'm going to practice. I may leave it there for now, and I may come back to you when I've got something better to show you. For example, when I've actually maybe finished the sign. So that might not be for a while yet, but who knows. See how I go.